Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I've been kicked off the desk again, but you've been kind enough to take me in over on the caster desk as well.
I'll give you a place for the next few hours.
I haven't been just removed from the whole venue like that some of the people have at the moment. Yeah, we've had some problems. I think paracetamol is the problem at the moment, that you're not allowed to take that through security. And that could actually be a big problem for OpTic, because they now don't have their coach for this match, which is madness.
And I don't think we're going to be holding it up any longer, so we'll have to see if he's able to make it here in time. If not, yeah, like you said, OpTic's going to have to operate without their coach for the first few rounds of this map at a very minimum, if not the first half or so. So we'll see how that affects them when we do get in game. But talking more about this series, we still have a very interesting match in front of us, looking at these two Danish rosters going up against each other. Tricked, I think, has surprised a lot of people with how far they've been able to push themselves in this tournament, but now, obviously, they're going up much more veteran competition, especially when you look at guys like Config right here. He's been around for a long time, has an amazing capability to make plays, and we've known him for that for years now. And the question is this newer talent on Tricked going to be enough to surpass the likes of guys like Config and MSL that have been around for so long?
Well, he actually did like a sort of big Q&A for his fans on Instagram and like tweeted about it as well. And they were like, when you next going to be winning a trophy? He said, Monday. Like, when's like the big games going to start coming from you? He's like, tomorrow. Like, he was like ready. Like, this is his sort of like moment where he's saying like, I'm back. And to be fair, an open is always a good place to do that. Like, it's sort of for the up-and-comers, it's for the building teams. They're definitely one that is sort of building their roster back up at the moment with Snappy seemingly gone. There was never anything official about that, which I sort of found kind of weird. Like, it was just that Testis is now here and Snappy is now gone. And yeah, I definitely think that from what we've seen so far, he's looked decent. But there's definitely been points on maps, like for example, the first map they played on Mirage, where he was isolated and he's not been put into like a simple role. It's not like he's just sort of one of the rotating players or like maybe holding an easy position. He was like just B anchor on that Mirage site. The other problem we have is we've only seen them play Mirage. So like they've been able to adapt that map where it's like, okay, this wasn't working, let's send MSL there to help him. But if we now go into train, if he has the same problem, you're in a semi-final trying to adapt on the fly without your coach. Like, that is horrible. Like, that's a horrible position to be in.
Yeah, like the lack of play from OpTic in this tournament in general is going to be a big question for me and how that could affect them. Tricked, we kind of know what to expect from at this point, right? They played, was it 6 maps over the course of the last 2 days, so they've played plenty already. We know what they can do, and we know the issues that'll pop up for them, right? Like we can kind of expect inconsistency among their individual players, because if you look back at each of the individual series, it's kind of been a different player stepping up and able to kind of dominate for them and be the heavy lifter when it comes to these clutch situations. That player has changed almost on a map-to-map basis for Tricks. You don't really know who's going to step up. We definitely have the players that we're keeping our eyes on, but we don't have guarantees for anyone. Problem is, same thing to a certain extent can be said for OpTic, just off the fact of the 2 maps. We saw, Config didn't have the greatest performance on one of the maps, so they ended up playing that they necessarily needed it. And they've only played 2 maps, so we don't necessarily know how well they're going to do in a longer series. If this gets drawn out to 3 maps and whatnot, that's going to be something that we'll have to look at as well when we do get into it. And hey, he made it! He's here!
Well, he escaped. That's good at least. So they're not going to have the problems of not having their coach. So that's at least something. He's not going to have had maybe the pre-warm-up that they would have liked, but I think it's good to see him back at the helm, because I think when it comes to the pauses, I know that Ruger definitely has like a lot of impact, and especially going into a map of Train, which we haven't yet seen them play, I think if it gets to a point where they were calling a pause because something hasn't gone right and he wasn't here, that could have been a big issue. Like, obviously, they've still got MSL. It's not like they've got someone who's like inexperienced at the leadership of the team. Like we could say for Windstrike, for example, in this tournament, Edward has never really called before. So I believe that Jonta probably had massive amounts of input, whereas MSL has been in-game leader across multiple different teams. In fact, he's been switching teams a lot this year. Like it has not been just like, oh, I've been in OpTic. Like, he started off in North, I went over to Rogue for a bit. Like, it's been a sort of weird year, but he's ended up back with Ruger again, and I think that they have like a nice little combo together. They have a lot of knowledge between them, and I think that could be one of the downfalls of Tricked, because I think everybody else going into this tournament had this almost mentality of, they're one of the last invites. Obviously, it goes down the rankings to sort of find who's going to be coming to the tournament. And they were one that I don't think many people expected to be here at all. And they definitely didn't expect them to be in the playoffs. However, if you're a Danish team, you're likely to know the other Danes. Like, they're definitely going to know Hunden. They're definitely going to know his playstyle. They even said it. Like, they've been looking into it. They're going to have sat there. Like, they were all here yesterday, like, practicing and watching the matches. So it's not like they're going into this going, oh, Tricked here. I didn't know that. I thought we were going to be playing up against Crazy. Like, they have done their research.
Either way, though, Tricked have done some very interesting stuff when it's come to their play, especially on Train. Not that we've seen them play a lot so far in this tournament. And this series is going to be no different. It's the very first semi-final. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. OpTic going up against Tricked. We'll start here with Tricked on the T side, OpTic on the defense.
Again, looking like they're just going to go for a fast play. The nade from MSL could do a lot of damage. The CZ needs to hit some shots. He's been overwhelmed in second. In fact, helped out by Tessus, in fact, hitting his IGL. And this is a lot of space already gathered up for this T-side, but they haven't actually pushed too aggressively. They're just sitting back towards the site.
OpTic going to try to line up a possibility for a retake here. A few players jumping on top of Orange Train, but A-Core with an ace shot almost completely knocks out Config. Getting him close to the head. Nico suffering a similar fate here. Not a whole lot of time left for OpTic to push themselves forward. They still have the kit on refresh. The positioning is what they're really working against right now. 2-for-1 trade. Config evens it back out, but he still has 2 more players to take down. There's not really any time left. He doesn't have the kit anymore. He'd have to go over Refresh's corpse to get it, and it's not going to work out. A-Core knocks out Config, and it's Tricked that start out with the first round in their favor.
Yeah, a back-to-basics pistol. Something we see quite a lot, actually. Just teams just trying to run into the site no matter what. It pretty much guarantees a bomb plant. And that we've sort of wondered throughout this, throughout the tournament so far, even though we've only seen 2 maps for them, it's like, what MSL is going to show up? Because he was super impactful in their second match with the AWP, like really playing well. And then in the first map, he was completely absent. And that's why it was actually so close in the end. By the looks of it, they're just going to go for the same thing again, straight towards the B site. It could come out as a little bit of a fake, but no, Barup is just running in. Tessus is waiting again. He's looking to be this anchor player, but he's gone within seconds.
MSL, beautiful shot against Barup. Takes him out. Shush with the immediate response, though. Stop MSL from finding any more impact. The site's been taken. Tricked even getting relatively aggressive with their control now as Shush moves all the way up to Z to smoke it back off. He's, of course, got the close hold on the CT spawn rotate as well. And OpTic, I'm pretty sure, are aware of this. They're not even really going to be attempting to push back in so early on here. They do eventually try to peek back in, but there's Shush with that very powerful position that I don't think OpTic can deal with, so they're just going to back away from this.
Yeah, no reason to just waste the weaponry that they've got. Obviously, we know going into the next round, they're not going to have too much in terms of investment. In fact, it should be null and void, just nothing invested. Maybe a P250, or if somebody's managed to save a pistol, they can throw that over, but ultimately, 2-0 to Tricked, relatively clean and off to a good start on their T side.
So 2 rounds in their favor. Now it's time to see them build on that a little bit more. As you're saying, we should expect a little bit of a lighter investment besides the saves from OpTic going into the next round. We'll take a look at what exactly they're able to put together. Still had some aggressive positioning at the beginning of that one. MSL specifically trying to trade his best on the inside of the train yards there. Just couldn't really make enough of an impact ultimately due to the fast-paced way in which Tricked worked their way out onto the site.
So, gonna see some aggression in Pop. I think it's one of those positions, considering he has a USP, where it's just info. Like, all he's there for is info. If he manages to win a duel in this position, I'll be surprised that he's just gonna burn straight down. Well, he's got the info that there's somebody around that area. Still though, Config, he goes towards A main. He's managed to get himself 2.
Bomb gets dropped as well. He's going to take a little bit of damage as he falls back. Quite a few members of OpTic, in fact, taking some chip damage from nades and other sources, but with Refresh's kill against Shush and now a tag on Bubsky, Trick just can't get anything started here. Finally, Bubsky picks up Config, but they still got a long way to go to turn this back around.
Yeah, this would be a big surprise win. If OpTic manages to steal it away, A-Core at least does a little bit of damage, but he takes the shot back in return, making the pistols ever more deadly. The CZ would be able to shred either of these players in a matter of seconds, but the USP is not going to be able to do anything. And this will give some space over the bomb, starting to make a bit of a rotation in this direction, but being a bit patient just in case Bubsky ends up being removed. Actually, Nico's going to catch out instead. It's left all onto A-Core. He's got to get a 1v3 just to save this round, a 1v2, sorry. But Refresh has managed to retrieve an AK-47. An almost even scenario. Peeks out, and he will get themselves the 4 spy victory. OpTic right back onto the board and a round they never should have taken.
Great stuff from OpTic, cutting off, especially right at the beginning. I believe it was Config that picks up the 2 important kills that starts us on this wild ride back over towards the T connector. Those 2 pickups there, drops the bomb, throws Tricked off, and they're just never really able to recover. Constantly getting picked off by roaming members of OpTic after that. Leaves them in a very, very tough position. And here you go, there's the 2 kills that started this crazy ride. That OpTic are now going to be able to ride right into their first round here. Right behind Trick now, but of course Trick still have the money to rebuy, so we'll see one attempt to correct this.
Yeah, the fact is that this is a massive boost to the economy for OpTic. Again, a surprise round, mainly based off the aggression of Config. And if that's the start of him coming into this, that's the big problem I have for Trick. They've got some talented youngsters. They don't have anybody who has his skill ceiling, at least not yet. We have not seen anywhere near that. Shush was very good yesterday. But if Config hits its stride, I don't think there's anybody in the tournament who can face off against him.
We saw Shush. To be honest, we saw Acor having some really nice moments too in the first series versus Windstrike. And I think that he could show up once again if they're able to get the op on him. Even on the T side of this map, there's some good potential for him to pop off a bit, but we'll see about that once we get an op into his hands. This is not the case just yet. Trick are going to take a little bit of damage. They work their way out. Testis somehow goes unnoticed here as Shush gets the opening kill. He's going to be traded by Testis closer into the site, but it's Abrupt that finds him a little bit further back. As now we're brought into a 4v3 with Trick getting the bomb onto the ground. Much better controlled the inner site this time.
Yeah, they seem to be struggling though with just the fast aggression of this team. Nico will at least be able to turn things back into a 3v3. Barup, such an aggressive position, but he's caught out and Nico finds another. It's left all onto Acor. You said he made some big plays. This would have to be one of them. A 1v3 smoked off. They're already on the bomb. There's a Molotov down, and I think that's the moment he has to just save. There's no way he gets out of this. Would have had to run straight through multiple Molotovs just to try and get a shot onto the player defusing the bomb. And OpTic with a really good retake there. That was a 4v3, and they managed to survive with all 3 players.
Yeah, too much utility being used against Acor. Not only that, but just no duels going their way once the retake begins. An unfortunate turn of events for the guys on Trick, and it all happens so quickly they're not able to turn it back. So we'll be tied up 2-2 off of that, and that'll also pretty much break the Trick economy, putting them onto an eco for this round. The exception, of course, being Acor, who had the save.
Yeah, he actually had a bit more extra money as well, so he's in a decent spot to buy into the next round. And of course, it's not like he doesn't get loss bonus. They managed to get the bomb down, so this is more just a bonus for him, and an AWP likely to come in the next round no matter what happens, unless they manage to steal this and he just keeps his AK, but that's not looking so good for now. Already tagged down to 45 HP. Normally you might see this AK juggled over, but no one else has armor, so it's the logical choice for him to keep it. The problem is, if this is another sort of cleanish round coming out for OpTic, they could start to build a real bank on their side, and, well, Hunden going for a little bit of an information peek has his head removed.
Not going to be too smart, unfortunately, to do that peek with the bomb in hand, so that'll get dropped onto the ground just outside of Team A. Not the hardest thing in the world for Trick to retrieve, but it's another obstacle they now have to deal with. The 2-man lineup outside of Ivy, I thought for sure Acor and Bubsky were dead. Acor barely makes it out. Doesn't survive for too much longer, though. OpTic do get to clean things up a few seconds later, and now take the lead at 3-2. We should see an immediate reinvestment from Trick to try and stop them from going too much further.
I wonder if this is where the AWP's actually brought out. Definitely a prominent T-side weapon for finding those opening picks. And other than the fast plays for Trick at the moment, nothing really seems to be working. The A site seems fairly on lock, but we haven't actually seen a proper execution from them just yet. It's mostly just been attempted brute force and some, well, fantastic plays coming out from Config on that side of the map. The AWP's still going to be in the hands of MSL, yet to really have much of an impact with it. So if that's something that we see further into the game, then that could be the opening moment for Trick.
Trick are going to take a passive opener to this one once again. Not really trying to push into Ivy or anywhere in the back halls, even towards Team A. Things are staying relatively quiet for them. Got good utility to execute later on in the round, but because of their passive play, they're not really doing a good job of forcing it out from the CTs either. So with what they have, should be easily counterable to whatever Trick they're going to end up throwing out here once the time gets low enough for them to execute. Obviously, we saw Testis taking a little bit of damage that he did closer to the inner bomb site. He took a small duel towards ramp. It's not going to mean much in the grand scheme of things here. Still ultimately waiting for Trick to make the first move.
Yeah, still plenty of time left on the clock. We have seen a lot of slow plays in this tournament, like patient plays, but also bombs being dropped and time running out. And I'm hoping we're not going to see anything of the sort in this semi-final, because it does get worrying if you lose a round like that. And it can also get in the back of your head. Here we go, though. MSL spots a man jumping across. I think they're going to know this is the A play, but they're slowly getting surrounded. Refresh caught out from the Ivy position, and now Config sat on the site is slowly being overwhelmed. Luckily, he has his IGL to help him out, but he won't last long.
Ancor finding a trade. Borup also with one for Trick here as they work their way closer up to the site. OpTic just can't steal anything away from this push, and it's very, very quickly running them over. MSL left alone. Fends off the first attempt to take him down at Bubsky, but re-peeks into the up for the T side moments later, giving Trick their first response round and tying us up again at 3-all.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be much control, actually, from the CT side. Like, they were almost in a straight line across the site, just hiding down the sides of the trains. And this boost was why, because the smoke that was down gave that almost full security in your mind. You're like, okay, well, they're not going to peek from Ivy. They boost over the top, get the opener, and you can just see everybody at once swivels away to look towards that Ivy spot, and then out of A main, the rest of the team comes. So a really good round from Tricked. But I don't expect so much control be given up this time, and already, actually, we saw some aggression out from Refresh. They're looking to try and fight Ivy instead. Once again, I feel like they are putting so much pressure on Testes. He is the B site holder on both maps we've seen from this OpTic side. He is the new man, he is the youngster, and they've just gone, right, so you play alone on this site, that's yours, and us as a team will play everywhere else.
Well, thankfully for Testes' case, he's not going to be tested too much just yet. He's not in the early round here, although we do see a few players lurking back. Config's aggression, which has actually moved to multiple places within this round alone. We saw him just a couple seconds ago try to go for pop dog pressure. That's how we got a little bit of damage against Bubsky. But he ends up moving it over towards the T connector, where he actually finds the kill on Acor, dropping the op. So it looks like the pressure from Trick is actually going to end up shifting towards the inner site. So Testes is going to be tested after all.
Yeah, they've done what they were doing before, though, again on Mirage, is they've sent MSL as that rotating off, a bit of an off angle. I like this setup, actually. Him watching down towards the ramp, and then MSL up above in case they come from upper. The bomb looking to go down. If he can deny this, the round is over for sure, and that's exactly what he will do. And now Baruch, 28 seconds, 4 players to find. Do you believe Blue? No, I didn't think so. See, normally I cast with someone more optimistic because I'm the pessimist. So if we're both the pessimists, this is bad.
I'll get a little bit of optimism when it's more potent, you know, okay. When it makes more sense.
Just not Bok level of optimism.
No.
No one has that much optimism. I
to be
think
fair,
he's ill.
Bok was the first one to put his horses with Trick, though, or to put his money with Trick.
Yeah, and they lost 16-5.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't win them all. But
it's funny because he's gone with them twice. They won one, lost one, and then he went against them and they lost. So he's 33% accurate in terms of tricked games so far.
He's almost cursed.
So he can even it up here. He can make it 50-50 if they win. But if he loses, then he's made it way worse. Prediction king.
Well, we'll figure that out once we get to the end of this series, of course. But the start of Train, really going in either team's direction here. OpTic seem to have a little bit of better control, but Trick trading out these rounds is still a good thing for them in the grand scheme of things if we are to assume their CT side will be a little bit stronger, as you expect on this map. Trick, though, come out quick this time. A bunch of their players already pushing the outer site, and with mixed results, though.
Yeah, just pure aggression. And the thing is, they've been struggling with just getting a 1v1 fight with Config and winning it. Like, he has been finding opening picks time and time again. Hunden will at least be able to sneak down the sides of the trains, but here's the bomb. If he's caught out at all in this angle, again, the round will fall, but he's actually going to find another one onto Refresh, and now Acor sneaks through the side of the smoke. This round has turned on its head once again, and Testes, the pressure's on, but he does manage to get himself a kill, and Hunden's still only with the UMP, looking to try and pick up the AK to switch things up, but Testes in the meantime is repositioned and he wins the 1v2. Again, the youngster steps up big. We saw him yesterday on Mirage being fantastic in terms of retakes and holding down B, and he wins a crucial round for them again.
2 multi-frag rounds in a row for Testes. He also picked up the double kill from upper in the B site, just 1 round back. So some big stuff from him. About 4 or 5 kills over the last 2 to 3 rounds. As he picks up some big stuff for OpTic to keep them in control of the lead. The sequence of rounds has also, again, put Trick into a bad spot economically, so we're not going to expect anything too much to come from them this round. They've got Glocks on quite a few of their players. They just don't have the capability to do much. It's 2 flashbangs as well as utilities. Terrible. It should be an easy one for OpTic.
Yeah, this is one of those rounds that almost seems to be a bit of a throwaway. We didn't actually get to say where we thought this was going. It's a little bit of a weird scenario, but I say that a 5-3 is as even as you're going to get when it comes to this map in terms of like the size. Ooh. Bobsky trying to shut me up, because I was about to say that I'm still going with OpTic. Like, I've seen them all the way through. I've said that I think they're going to win all the way through, and also I've gone against Tricked every single time. So for me, it's fairly, well, easy to say where I'm going to be going. I think OpTic are looking to go to the grand final.
Yeah, it's the Trick storyline at this event's been really cool, but I think ultimately in a best-of-3 against OpTic, considering that this is like, you know, inter-regional matchup as well, I think that experience from OpTic's side mainly is going to end up trumping what the new guns are bringing to the table on Trick, and that's what's going to allow them to win a best-of-3. But we'll see. Like you said, they're still keeping it relatively close.
I'm happy to be wrong as well.
Yeah,
like, I'm very happy to be wrong in this scenario, because they have been one of the most exciting teams throughout this tournament. Them and Ancient have completely turned this tournament on its head. And those are the sort of things I love about an open, is that you can get stuff like this. That's a double dink lock. And now they've done it with a P250. They're looking to prove me wrong, at least. This is a nothing round coming out from Tricked. And well, MSL and Testis now have to win a 2v5.
With no positioning to do it. They've got utility, you know, 4 flashes, a smoke. They just don't have the positioning or the knowledge, you know, about where Tricked are going or have gone in post plant. On top of the fact that, you know, look at how many guns Tricked have gotten off of this for free now. So Testis is going to be able to at least find Bubsky, who goes lurking for another gun, picking that up in the process. But the other 3 probably not going to try that too much. They'll back away, and we'll see Testis and MSL choose to save as well. So I was wrong. It's not an easy one for OpTic. It's Trick's way to battle back into this game, as we're still going to be close at 5-4. And this is great in the long run for Trick to keep an up pace. If, you know, we end up like 8-7 at halftime, that's still great for Trick ultimately.
Well, that's been one of the things I've actually really enjoyed about this team, is a lot of the time their anti-eco rounds seem to be really, well structured, but also just individually sound. Like, you have to remember the way they finished off Windstrike and kicked them out of the tournament was a full USP rush and just managed to win. Like, made no sense. Like, Hunden getting 2 kills versus full buys. It wasn't like Windstrike had bad economy or anything. It was literally a full buy, and they just managed to win it. So I've been thoroughly impressed with how well they've been able to do with pistols. And again, it's like just the Deagles have been so dirty within this tournament, and not with the players I expected them to be. Like, sure, there has been good stuff coming out from Avangard, but they ultimately lost a load of force buys as well. Like, we've sort of had the meme in this tournament of Jame being the save king, because every single time that they're in like an advantageous position, he has the AWP, somehow they lose that round.
Well, for Avangard, unfortunately, their time is set, but Trick's got an opportunity still to make an impact here, especially after a 1 round like that. Look at how it just emptied out the CT's bank now. They've got nothing after this round. In fact, some players have already had to downgrade pretty significantly, with Nico and Refresh going to SMGs. Trick, though, had mixed results with their slower played rounds, which against, you know, full gun power from OpTic is more than likely the way that Trick is going to choose to play this out.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think with, actually it's been more the fact that when they play these slower rounds, it normally gives someone like Config a 1v1 duel. And that's actually what will benefit them. Like, he's going to win that duel most of the time. It's when they're pushing together and using the faster plays, where if he's traded 1-for-1, that's a success. Like, everybody else has not been having the best game so far, but this man has been deadly. They will run past him. Did he not hear them? Like, the footsteps surely should have been heard. I know the guys have been talking about the white noise maybe being a little bit too loud, but that's ridiculous. 3 players run past Config, and while this round has just fallen flat on its face, Refresh left in a 1v3 sneaking round the back. But by the looks of things, he might just be going for exits. No kit, a UMP. I'm not feeling hopeful.
Yeah, Tricked again though, like you were mentioning, they keep themselves together, they go for a conjoined push, and this actually helps with the trading a lot. You know, if Config has the entire Tricked roster very split up there, there's a very good chance he's able to multi-frag, but because they're all stuck together, yes, he sneaks in the 1 kill, and that's the fault of Tricked for not noticing him up there. But it's also Config's fault for not catching on to the group of players that walked right past him.
3 players got past him, and he killed the 4th. I feel like if you're the 4th player as well, you're like, seriously.
It's one of those, it's like,
come on.
I'm the guy that gets insta-picked.
I was baiting at the back. How does this happen? It's like karma first. Refresh, that is not bad. Jumping headshot with a UMP, why not?
And he gets an op.
And 2 kills. They only have 1 man surviving at the end of that. So it definitely wasn't clean for Tricked, and they haven't been so far in a lot of their rounds. But Now things are really dicey for OpTic. Like their money, as you mentioned, was rinsed because they had the clutch from Tessus, the 1v2, and then they lost the round.
So the op is really the only thing they're going to have going into this round. Zero investment across the board there when you look at all 5 members of the CT side right now. So they're not going to bring anything to the table. Refresh is going to have to hope he can find major impact with that AWP. It's doubtful with the rest of the team on USPs. We've already seen a few upsets. This time, though, probably going to be unlikely. Borup starts things off incredibly well with 2 picks against MSL and Refresh. Is assisted by flashes. Borup panicking for a moment there, too, as he finds Config. Has to do a bit of a double take, but still picks up the kill relatively quickly. Nico not going to be given that chance, though, as he takes down Bubsky and finds the AK on the ground.
That's the half check from Bubsky. Like, he's done the classics that a lot of players do. Nice spray down from Shush. But yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, he's not going to be there, so I'll just half check it. So he looks, realizes, but is already looking away, and by that point he's dead. So other than that, round going very well. They get rid of the AWP as well, which would have been a huge save into the next round if it was possible, and it didn't have any impact either. So they've got a 4-save round, finally making a little bit of money on that T side. And yeah, it's enough that if things do go wrong again, they'll have a rebuy. And they've already got 6 rounds on what we've said is pretty much the most CT-sided map in the pool at the moment.
Yeah, so to be honest here, like OpTic could win the next 4 rounds outright, and it wouldn't be a big deal for Tricked, or at least it shouldn't be. But if Tricked are able to, go up 7, 8, 9 rounds here, it's going to be a massive deal for them going into the second half, considering how much of a rebound we've seen for them on Train over the last 2 days now, considering that this is where they started out against Aristocracy and got absolutely melted by them, 16-5. Great to see them improving their results so quickly. Tessus can only hold for 1 on the inner side as Trick go for the quick execute. Just immediately there for the trade. Then again, it's very fast plant from Trick. They're not going to waste any time with it. No flank opportunity going to be open for OpTic, so it's all a head-on retake for them.
And they have no utility. This is just one flash. Oh no! Oh, what? How does Shush not get that? That seemed like an easy kill on MSL. He just can't connect with the AWP at the moment. He keeps missing sitter shots. Luckily, there's a little bit of help, but it's this connector play. Borup has to survive. He has to survive. If he goes down, it doesn't matter. Hunden can't do anything. He's smoked off. Config's waiting, knows he's there. Even with that kill, it plays absolutely no part into the round. MSL will be defusing the bomb, and all that Hunden could do is just wait. But even still, that comes too close for comfort. And I don't like throwing one player under the bus, but there have been multiple rounds now where somebody has run down ramp into the crosshair of MSL, and he has just completely missed the shot. And that's normally a sitter. Like, that opening pick from the connector is something that I think 9 out of 10 AWPers will hit 9 out of 10 times. Like, he needs to start getting into the rhythm of things. And although, like, statistically, he's not doing too badly, it's just leaving Tessus in such a horrible position every time where he can only trade 1 for 1.
Oh, and MSL tries to get aggressive in a different spot this time. Tries to go out Ivy. Is immediately denied by Acor. Here's him walking out a mile away and finds the counter on his own up.
Yeah, they've reacted, though. I think Config knows that they need to have some sort of map control, some sort of play. They've lost Ivy completely. The thing is, though, Hunden's waiting. I think this is actually just where you see how intelligent this Trick roster actually is. Like, after losing MSL, the obvious choice is to take some more control and try and get yourself back into the round early. Because we've seen already, even in 5v5s, Trick have been very good when they group up together and run into a site. I think they've had some of the best trading I've ever seen. Like, it really is ridiculous. Like, someone goes down, it's instantly done. Here we go, Config, well placed, sprays around. He actually gets 2. That's not bad. And now Refresh is set and waiting. They've turned this round on its head as it's into a 3v2.
Bubsky picks up the next frag, though, as he's able to work his way out. Pop Dog. Refresh is going to try to get aggressive, but it's Acor. He cannot take a 1v1 duel against this man. He's so fast. Picks up another pick. That's 3 on the round for him. He's been the saving grace for Tricked. Now it's him and Bubsky just trying to close out against Nico. They've got good control. 30 seconds left as well, so if they want, they can try to rotate towards the inner site. But Nico can take the duel on either site, considering his position in Z.
Yeah, I like this. They're resetting the round. The thing is, though, it seems like Nico's got the read. He's going to spot out Bubsky, but it's a quick trade. Again, so effective. Acor with this AWP, I have to admit, going into this tournament, I was looking at the team and thinking, is he going to be able to stand up to any of the other AWPers in this tournament? Like, even against MSL, I was thinking, I don't know how good this guy is going to be. And considering, like, you look at the AWP talent of, like, Jane, Otto, you've got Draken as well. And this guy has probably been one of the best AWPers out of the whole tournament.
Like I said, he's just so quick. If he has to scope, he's only on it for a half second or so. And half the time, he's just going for straight up no-scope shots, and it's actually hitting a lot of the time. Tessus is going to have maybe a little bit of fun here.
Oh, he was so close.
Right off the mark, and Hunden will take control of that kill. He'll also find MSL. Shush and Borup will pick up the next two. And this is going to be probably a pretty quick round here as Borup also gets the final frag. Trick take it up to 8 as we enter the final round of the half.
I feel like it's getting to the point where like I'm sort of waiting for their story to end, and it just keeps going. Like I sort of read into this, was like, oh, they've done quite well initially. Okay, well now they'll lose, and then it's like, no, they've managed to do it again. Then they knock out Avangar, and I'm like, you what?
Oh, it's not over yet. Well, let's see if they can keep the story going. Adding one more piece to the puzzle here, if they can add that 9th round to the board. OpTic, of course, are going to look for a response as they've got their first full investment in a bit of time, actually. MSL strikes first, yes, but Config gets caught just behind E-Box. And as Borup picking up those trades for Trick and keeping them in the fight here. MSL ends up taking possibly a little bit of heat, but it's Nico up on top of the train that goes down next. MSL's there for the pickup, though, as he hides behind the bomb train.
And maybe he's finally going to come alive in this last round, but overwhelmed. Tessus again on the cross, uses the gap in the smoke, but it's still going to have to be refreshed clutching, but he has gained some position. This is fantastic. The reads coming out from Tricked just seem to be spot on every single time. Like, okay, we haven't seen this 5th player. Where are the positions he can be? He can be around the back of B, like rotating through towards Ivy, or he can be going all the way around to A main. So where do we go? B. Genius. And now they've set up in a bomb plant that's open. This is such a tough position for Refresh to actually get back into. They have connector control. The bomb is planted for that position as well. Like, where does he look? Does manage to see one of the players, but he doesn't know where the second is, and they're just playing this so passively. He does have a kit, but there's no utility. Just tries to bait them into the angle and does manage to at least get the first. Baits the second, but he can't find the kill. Hunden will keep it going, and it is going to be 9-6 in favor of Tricked. We'll be back after a short break. Well, Tricked have managed a fantastic T-side, once again showing that they are a team to be reckoned with within this tournament. One coming in as one of the lowest ranked teams we have here. and they have gone through our highest ranked team we have here, and now looking to face off against their Danish brothers as well. Going on to the CT side, they are set to take this, but can they close out this map?
Definitely don't want to call it just yet. There's been a few bumps on the CT side here for Trick throughout the tournament so far, but we'll see. They're also going to be back on USPs for the pistol on MSL. Oh, Shush, of course, doing the large majority of the damage on that kill, but MSL still falling the eventual distance that'll lead to his death, giving Trick an early 5v3 lead in the pistol.
Yeah, a literal fall from grace. Nice shot, though, from Refresh. Gets them back in towards the A side, but Acor with the one tap will get him down as well. Looking to do even more again. Steps up big, and Tesses is left into clutch after clutch. I feel like he's the last one alive a lot of the time. Knows he's done the damage, doesn't actually spot the player, even though he just saw him, and now he's on to 1 HP versus 200 on the other side. No control of the bomb. At least he got a USP, though.
He's got that, but the problem is he needs instant one-taps against both these players. If a bullet even whizzes past him, it's probably going to kill him. So he's got to be incredibly careful about how he approaches this. Thankfully, Tricked, as we've known them, when they are able to establish presence and get to play defensively, they will play as passively as they can. So they're going to sit back and take their time with this one. Testis, not really going to be given much of an angle onto the players in the back lane, but there's the shot. Tricked or smart, they would have read into that. Found his position and are now lining up to counter him. As he works his way back into the train yards here. Tries to find a way to make this work. He's going to be found out. They know he's back up on top now. He's got to stay positioned in the back corner. He's going to commit to this, though. Bomb onto the ground. He'll move out to the open, and as expected, goes down quickly due to the combined push from the two members on Tricked.
Honestly, coming out of that with a bomb plant, though, is way more than expected. A 1v3, ending up with 1 HP in the 1v2. Like, to get a plant out of that really isn't bad, but again, oh, why do this to him? We didn't need to see that replay. Everybody knew how he died. That's just mean.
Still always fun to see. So we'll get that on camera one more time, but it's Trick that are going to keep it going, and OpTic obviously can't really take that. They need to respond right now. So with the plant in their favor, we get that usual second round buy coming out for them. Now it's time to see if it's going to be able to yield any results. Bubsky getting aggressive over towards PopDog. No one from OpTic going to peek into it, though, so both teams will just walk right past each other, at least for now, as OpTic get ready to actually go for a bit of a slow walk. Potentially an early walk as well, down into this B site.
You have to remember yesterday the craziness of Bubsky in that PopDog. Like the wind strike push that he had where he just ran up the ladder and just looked to fight. They're scared of it. Shush already tagged down the config, a double opener into the site. This is the man you need to step up in these scenarios, as he will take over this round, and the CT side may just have to make the decision to save. This is an effective force buyout from the T's, and they're gone.
No one from Tricked even going to attempt to contest it. Bubsky failing outright to throw his own aggression up through PopDog. And that combined with the outright elimination of Shush and Acor by Config on the site leaves not a whole lot of room for Trick to find impact here. But regardless, Bubsky's still going to test his luck as he pushes upstairs into the back halls. Catches Refresh. He's going to be able to do a little bit of damage at least. He's going to look for Config next, but the timing of this ends up cutting him off.
That's an AK as well. If they can get that, that's one of the only AKs they actually had. This would be a big save, and the Hunters got it. They're just running away. They've come out with better weaponry than they kind of started with. I think there was an AUG in there somewhere that got overwhelmed, but hey, that's not a bad pickup considering things. And now I wonder if it's going to become a force by a war, if the CT side will now invest themselves. I wouldn't be surprised because they've got that worst case scenario where nowadays you get the extra loss bonus if you lose the pistol. But if you win the pistol and then lose the second round, you get the old loss bonus and just get absolutely wrecked.
It's going to be Config as well in that round, kind of saving his team once again on those entries. I talked a little bit about how he was able to do that back towards T-Connector back when they were on the CT side, and he was often the saving grace that gave OpTic a lot of their rounds from the first half. And he's done it once again here at the start. Tessa's helping out where he can, as well as a close second to him in terms of impact so far in this matchup. That's going to be passive starts from both teams. We do get that force that you were talking about from Tricked here. They are going to buy in as aggressively as they can, but utility is going to be at a bar minimum, and that's going to be the problem here, especially if OpTic continue to play it as slow as they are now.
Yeah, the other thing as well is, like, even the little bit of utility that they have, some of it's on Bubsky. Like, when is he ever going to use a smoke? Like, unless he's getting Molotov, a smoke in Pop is fairly worthless unless you're trying to escape. So you can even just look at the positioning of like the players that actually have the utility, and it does make things a little bit more dicey. Like even if you look at where the rest of it is, it's over onto A main. They're about to go pushing into B. There is nothing there, not a single flashbang. It is literally all on to just A core and this SMG, and well, already 2 players gone. Bubsky does at least manage to retrieve that AK-47, and actually he's done a lot of damage with the A-core's found a kill as well. This may be about to go back. Refresh and Tesses to try and save things.
Flank going to be working its way in from A4 in the back lanes. The Molly, though, nearly taking out Bubsky as he tries to move up to the bomb train. He was smart. He would have listened to that, got some sound intel. But look at Borum's going to walk right out. No resistance at all, and both of the remaining Ts go right down. It's Tricked with a response round. They're going up to 11. OpTic just can't hold a grasp against this Tricked roster.
I think it was Bubsky who hit the bottle, and not in the normal case that you would in esports. But yeah, that is ridiculous. Like, gets hit with the Molotov, and normally you just see someone spray through that smoke, but doesn't work out, maybe not wanting to give away any more positioning. But again, like a round that never should have been. Like, OpTic give themselves that sort of springboard onto the T side. I said it, like that's the worst case scenario economy-wise for the CT side. And then they managed to win that force buy, which looked really bad. Like, they lost the first player initially. I think a second player went down somewhere else on the map. I think it was Hunden. And then somehow, like, you get that AK spray from Bubsky, not only getting a kill, but also doing a lot of damage. The scout shot then comes in as well. And again, it's just like these big plays from, like, I'm not going to say big players, like relatively unknown players, or players who at least have been in, like, okay, North Academy. Like, North Academy, once you'd have seen it already ripped apart, like Gade leaving and like Mertz leaving. Like, okay, it was after that. And then you've got like Fragsters, where a lot of the sort of, well, people who thought they were the top talent have gone on to bigger things. Like Refresh was part of that roster as well. Bubsky has proven that even if he may not have been the star of that team, he definitely is a star player. Like, he's fantastic.
So the ball's back in Trick's court in a big way this time too. OpTic's first more aggressive reinvestment left them with at least Eagles and a few armor buys behind this that they were able to upset with. This time it's going to be a little bit harder of an ask because they don't have any armor, barely any upgraded pistols here. They do have control of the inner sight, though, so they might be able to sneak a plant off at a minimum, but the problem is the bomb got stuck at upper. Still going to be able to move forward and catch a few players from Trick, so at minimum, they're reaching kind of minimum economy damage, but and the plant, there you go, being given over to OpTic. So not a terrible round at the end of the day, considering what was invested into it. Trick definitely should have been able to clean this up. At minimum, those 2 deaths not happening, I would think.
Yeah, I think an individual round, it's very good, actually, for the T side, but it's just in context. Like, they're going to want to try and get as much done as they possibly can. Like, even an extra kill or 2 there would have been nice, just to make sure that they really reduce the economy of the CT side, which they have done anyway. Hunden is the only one with any real cash left in the bank. But this is like a crunch time round. If Trick managed to take this as well, they're ever closer to closing out this game. And the T's money is not fantastic, and the loss bonus isn't that great either.
So we're going to see Bubsky.
Oh, here we go again.
He's going to try to go for a flank. He's got perfect timing on this too. Should be able to catch them completely unawares. Sneaks in, takes down Nico, and immediately falls back. 0 response from OpTic.
0 respect from Bubsky as well. Nice spray through the smoke, though. The counter coming out from Config. I have to say, like, these are the sort of plays that coming out from Bubsky, which I don't know how he manages to get the timing right so often. Like, it's actually weird, because that is a position that is watched like a hawk. He tries again, but it seems to be the man who is the counter to this aggression is the aggressor from the previous half. Config has caught 2 players now. 1 through smoke, 1 peeking. Hunden trying desperately to find something back, but in fact it's Aiko with the AWP once again. Hunden on the corner. He knows Config's coming. It takes a little bit of time to react, but Config doesn't capitalize. Now MSL, a clutch situation. I'm not sure I believe in this. A 1v3 hasn't lit up the server like he did yesterday on Mirage. I'm just going to try for something a little bit flashy. That actually worked. Jumps across. He's made things interesting.
He's going to trade out this AK, though. Especially with the angles he's working against, is a good idea. He's got a much better chance of being able to trade these kills appropriately. Finds the first one. He's got a good idea that Shush is sitting back in Ivy too with the smoke he threw down, so he's going to fall back over towards E-Box now. Shush is going to have to play this very carefully. He's working with 0 vision. And it's going to like MSL is going to choose not to take this duel here. Yeah, MSL going to make a mad dash over. Should just be able to make it, I think, and get this plant onto the ground.
Oh, I like this from MSL, but Smoke going down means that he's not going to have any time to reposition. He's got the bomb in his favor, but just look at the quick rotation coming in from Shush. He's going balls to the wall right in towards MSL. Experience versus youth in this 1v1 battle. And MSL looking to try and pull off a clutch that never should have been. They peek in, he's so close. 14 HP. And you can see, I cannot repeat what he just said, but he is not happy.
Not happy at all, and there's reason. He played that perfectly. MSL should have been able to win out that duel, even with the angle that he finally had at the end of it. Shush, however, just ended up with the better aim when he leaps up on top of him, takes him out. And that is going to mean that Trick will continue to dominate here. So close as well. A very well-played 1vx situation from MSL. Just barely falling short at the end. It's going to put Trick's 13th round up on the board. 3 away now from closing out the first map.
Yeah, as mentioned, it was a crucial round. Luckily, the CT side will still have enough money to actually get into this. Or sorry, the Ts will, but it's not pretty. The CT side themselves will as well, though they lost a lot of players in the last round. This could still be a bounce back, and Config, again, manages to sneak his way through. Finds an opening pick. He has been good in this game, it's undoubtable, but there's been a lot of quiet players over on the OpTic roster and some clutch plays coming out, and he's now going to be caught. And again, a man advantage comes in for OpTic. A few seconds later, the lead is lost. Refresh trying to peek into Bubsky, and it just isn't happening at the moment. They're getting slaughtered. It is pretty much config or bust. And Tesses hoping to try and save this for them here. He's in an even worse position than MSL was.
See, Tesses is going to try to work his way through to Olaf, I believe. He's got the smoke on Ebok's side, tries to jump back in T-Con. I'm not sure if it was for a reset or to retrieve the op. Either way, it cost him heavily in terms of HP. He's going to peek out. Nice pick on Bubsky. Ooh, almost a very nice wall pick as well. Try and find Shush, but no. Tesses is going to get caught. It's led by Shush further back, and that's going to be yet another round going over to Tricked. And I believe with the ticking in the background, the pause for OpTic coming up here.
I feel like the way that Tricked are playing is almost like when we used to watch Fnatic, like the legendary Fnatic with like JW. Like, obviously not to the same extent. This is a huge push of an example, but the way that they're playing is so little respect. Like the amount that JW was able to aggress in that old roster where he'd say on Inferno, he'd just run down mid. Like Bubsky has pushed up ladder. Now that's almost known as like a death spot. Like you don't do that because you will die. Like that's one of the basic things you learn even just playing like matchmaking games. You go, you don't do that, that's stupid. And Bubsky's like, well, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna make it work. Barup as well. He pushes all the way around the train, is completely exposed, but relies so heavily on Echo to hit that shot. And I don't think I've seen many teams at all, even at the top level, with that level of faith, where you're like, I am completely exposed. If he misses, I die. But I will still go for this anyway because I trust him.
It's very like high risk, high reward playstyle. But as you said, as long as you have trust in your teammates, it can work amazingly well. OpTic going into this round, of course, still going to be a little bit broken. Trick too, you know, not really running away with the economy. Trick are very fortunate
again
that they've been able to win as many rounds as they have.
No.
Oh no, with the shotgun as well.
Oh, he jumped, he his mouse wheel, but he still gets MSL.
That's like the third time I've seen him do a mouse wheel jump in MSL play at this tournament. he's gonna get that thing fixed.
He could have had so many, but even still, oh, this could be interesting. They know where he plays, but what Barup has done is take the position that his teammate used to play. So you wouldn't really expect anybody to necessarily be here now, because again, this is his exact position. I love the fact that Testes is trying to play the XM on the T side, but to be honest, if I was going to try and play it anyway, it probably would be Pop. Like, I think that's the only place it can really work. They're still playing patiently, and now they're watching it, but it's kind of too late. Like, the guy who's going to push it has gone. I don't think anybody else is as mad.
Ultimately, he still was able to go 1 for 1 at the end of the day, too, so the status quo has remained the same. Neither team really gets a massive advantage out of that kill. Molly just going to get washed away. Warp will laugh at that. However, another one works its way in from the other side, but he can just tuck into the smoke and stay safe. Nico trying to hunt, spamming in through the wall, nearly gets him, too. That final spray very close to taking him down, and he will be able to finish it a second later. Problem is, Hunden found a pick. They've got less than 10 seconds to plant, meaning they're probably going to make a lot of mistakes on this push out that Hunden and Nacor are going to be able to abuse. There you go.
That was fantastically well played. Like, again, we have like late utility usage to try and hold off onto Pop, and you can see like from Nico's perspective, it was like, let me throw this Molotov down. Oh wait, there's a smoke here just waiting to deny it, because the whole point is they were gonna double molly Pop Dog, and that gives them the opener. But even when they were doing that, they had 25 seconds left on the clock. And this is almost just like, I feel like OpTic are just almost playing scared. Like, the fact that we've seen the aggression coming out from the ladder, that like the next like 20, 30 seconds they spend just watching to see if anybody else is going to come through. They get A main control so late into the round, and now they're having to take a pause to basically go like, what do we do? Because I have not seen a team, especially such a heavy underdog, play this aggressive and to such success. Like, that is the thing that is impressing me most about this Trick roster, is like, it seems that anything they do at the moment works.
Well, at a very minimum, it should be able to get the control of this map, unless we see a massive awakening from OpTic. This map might already be too far gone for them. Bubsky is going to find that first kill with a very comical ragdoll effect on it. A second kill also found over by Ivy. Now the trades, however, are going to come in from OpTic, with Nico and MSL finding a pickup of Bubsky getting aggressive in a new spot this time. Over towards Ivy, picks up Nico and drops the bomb.
Oh, spray from MSL. That's a lot of damage. He's actually going to be able to catch out A-Core. At least makes this round possible. The 2v2, but the bomb is dropped. Bubsky's aggression. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh no, don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. He almost lost it. That was not worth the risk. Not in this scenario. There's no monetary gain. He just wanted the BM, but while the ultimate BM is here, they have gone into train. They have decimated OpTic. This was a team, again, that we have sort of put them up against and said they should be the one taking this through. The desk actually ended up siding with Trick just because of their rise in this tournament so far. They have been so impressive with how they've been playing, and they now come into train, and we've sort of mentioned it already, like, we haven't actually seen much of OpTic's other maps, but that didn't look good.
No, it didn't at all. And the thing is, like, I thought Trick weren't going to be able to get away with some of the crazy things they were getting. They were getting away with in this map. I thought that OpTic was going to be a lot more drilled and kind of ready for what they were bringing to the table, especially when you consider, again, it's inter-regional. So you would have thought that there would have been a good amount of a read on them, but apparently not the case. Trick continued to surprise us, and they might have one more surprise for us as well if they can continue to close down this series. So we're going to find out about that, guys, right after this when we go into map number 2 and we see if Trick can move on to the grand finals or if OpTic can still fight back.